Well, hello there, friends. Long time no talk. I been meaning to post videos for a while, but life gets in the way. This is coming out to you on Leap Day 2024. I'd intended to do this all month long, and fate gave me an extra day to get it done. It is Black History Month, February, as hopefully many of you know. I personally am a collector of many things, but one thing that I always am interested in is anything related to the Negro League. Mainly because, it's historical. It's fascinating the things that these gentlemen and women overcame to, play a sport that they loved. And the Negro League Baseball Museum is right here in Kansas City. I highly recommend that. In fact, I know I'm telling you this at the very end, but it was free all month long, in honor of Black History Month. I've been there many times. I'm a member, and I get all kinds of stuff in the mail from them. But I try and pick up anything related to Negro League players, whenever I come across it. Some of the stuff, as you can imagine, gets quite pricey. So sort of locked out of some things, but I wanted to go over with you today some of my collection. I thought that would be fitting. I'm squeezing it right in at the end, but here we go. So we'll start with some of the larger items here. I have just a couple of Buck O'Neil bobbleheads. This one does come to us from the National Baseball Hall of Fame. And this one I actually picked up kind of at a flea market thing. I do have the box for it. It was a game day special, I think sponsored by Hy-Vee, if I see that logo over there correctly. I actually got to meet Buck O'Neil. It's probably he is the only former Negro League player that I've ever personally met. He used to work at a local TV station, and he came in for an interview one day, on or around his 95th birthday, something crazy like that. And I was miking him up, and, I just, said something, it was a pleasure to meet him. And he ended up talking to me, and I told him about my kids. He sent a couple of baseballs, which are, I didn't dig those out. I do have autographed baseballs of Buck O'Neil that are, some of my prized collection. And just a genuinely nice guy. And if you lived in Kansas City all the way up until the late 90s, early 2000s, when he was still alive, you would see him just like sitting around, sitting on a bench downtown, or like every freaking Royals game and minor league games. Just a great representative of the city, a genuinely nice person. And he is buried here in Kansas City in the same cemetery as a couple other Negro League players, including Hilton Smith and Satchel Paige. And Satchel Paige, actually Buck O'Neil and Satchel Paige have really interesting markers. Satchel Paige has his list of items for good living, including avoiding greasy foods and whatnot, which I probably aren't too good at. But enough of that rambling. Again, big fan of Buck O'Neil. I haven't taken this one out of the box. I see the box is a little messed up, but this one's sort of, this is the first bobblehead I ever got, really. I'm not big into bobbleheads, but if it's somebody I really like, there's a couple, Bobby Witt and a George Brett and Salvador Perez that are just out of camera view, but they aren't specific to this video. Buck O'Neil, great guy, genuinely ecstatic to have met him in my life. And this one, you might be wondering what its relevance is. It came from a Royals event, but it does say Kansas City Municipal Stadium. And while this is given away because of the Royals connection to it, they did play there from 1969 to 1972. It's where the Royals' first game was played. Actually, this is where Jackie Robinson's first major league game was ever played. A lot of people don't know that. But I have it here because this is also where the Kansas City Monarchs, the winningest team in the Negro League history, and of course, Buck O'Neil was a player, manager, and scout for them throughout his time. But they played here from 1963 to 1971. Shout out to Monkey Fat, born in 1971. But yeah, there we go. I know it's just kind of a small thing, and but I really enjoy it. If you visit the location of where this was, there's a little memorial there, and they have some interesting placards, famous Kansas City and sports heroes, and the rest of it is just a big housing district. So somebody's house is where third base was. It's kind of wild, but yeah, there you go. So we'll start with those, and then most of the rest of it is cards. There's a couple other non-card things mixed in here. I'm gonna set these gently. I won't go through all of it, but I do have these, which again are not cards per se, not like baseball cards. They are postcards. They're put out by the Negro League, and whenever I try and find them, I pick them up. I was lucky enough to get 2 of these. So some pretty big names from the time, Cool Papa Bill, Josh Gibson, Satchel Paige, and Rube Foster, one of the founders of the Negro League, where he and the others, J.L. Wilkerson, a few other big names from at least local history. There's a YMCA that's still there to this day. It's about a block and a half from the Negro League Baseball Museum, and on the side of the building where they met and actually set up the Negro League, there's a huge memorial. It's got these like 2-story tall murals of the players and a little mini base for the kids to run. And naturally, being who I am, there's a geocache there as well. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot in here. I won't make you guys sit through all of these, but, you know, it's interesting to me because, you know, some of these players, you know, they're amazing athletes, but they aren't really recognized in a lot of other ways. Like, there's not a lot of baseball cards for some that have no baseball cards. So, in many ways, this is the only way really to get some kind of memorial for them is something that the Negro League put out. But then, you know, you've got like Willie Mays, Ernie Banks, Hank Aaron, of course, big names that, you know, went on to be very influential in the sport. But not all of them had that luck. You know, maybe they were older. They couldn't be a rookie in their 40s like Satchel Paige was. But I like looking at these. I also do send a lot of postcards as another hobby of mine, but none of these are going to be sent out. These are prize collections of mine. Some of them I'm really lucky. I found them for like $1 or $2. Some of these things people want big bucks for them because, you know, collectors like myself, and it's really hard to come across them. Let's get into some baseball cards because I know a lot of you are really into baseball cards. Obviously, I am too. So start off with this Josh Gibson card, which I want to point out. Shout out to Bud Stoney. I won some stuff from him on Whatnot, and this card was thrown in there, which was not something I had expected. So a very nice add-on to my good friend Bud Stoney. Please check him out. Watch him on Whatnot and on YouTube. Great guy, great human being, very generous. So this collection here is just sort of my my non-Buck O'Neil, non-Satchel Paige random cards. Most of what I have is Satchel Paige. He's one of the most well-known players outside of, you know, Jackie Robinson and whatnot. But Satchel Paige has personal connections. Well, he was born in Alabama. He spent a lot of his life here in Kansas City. In fact, the home that he lived in for a number of years after he retired and where he passed away is here in Kansas City. I have a geocache there across the street from it. Unfortunately, it caught fire 4 years ago, I think. They were able to put the fire out, but there was a lot of damage to it. And there's some attempts to try and make it into a museum that have not succeeded yet. But that is, you know, a big thing. There's also a Satchel Paige Memorial Stadium not far from there where some kid games are played. But anyway, back to Josh Gibson here. These are Hall of Record cards here. Gosh, what was it? A ton of home runs. 146 in the Negro League, but I know he hit way more than that as a Major League Baseball player. Here he is, Pittsburgh Crawfords. You know, it's amazing some of the names of some of these teams that, you know, you don't really hear. In fact, there's, I forget where they played, but there was the Clowns. Actually, look right here. Let's see it on this one. I don't see where it was, but yeah, Jackie Robinson briefly played for them. There we go. Okay, here we go. So at least 730 home runs. I want to say it was into the 900s. This is 800 plus home runs. So this is a series where they put out a card for each of his home runs. Obviously, I don't have all of them. I just have these 3. A little dimmer and a couple high ones there. But again, anything related to the Negro Leagues is going to interest me. Here we have a nice die cut card. This is from 2022, I think. Yep, 2022. Josh Gibson die cut. There we are. It is Crawford. So those are the Josh Gibson cards that I've got. Make sure I'm still in frame here. Mule Subtle, we got 2 of those. Hilton Smith, he's also buried here in Kansas City, over near Raytown, actually, really close to where I grew up. Larry Doby, this is an Armed Forces card of his from the National Baseball Hall of Fame, which I had the good fortune of visiting last year. August 2024, 2 years ago. There's another Buck Leonard. I guess that's the first Buck Leonard. Sorry. Cool Papa Bell. I have a couple of these, including these numbered cards here. I don't think this one is numbered, but then we got the black frame, which I think is really cool. That's a limited release. And then here we have 897 out of 2023. Cool Papa Bell in the red refractor. So yeah, I could probably ramble on and on about stories about these guys. There's a lot of fascinating history with them. Again, I highly recommend the baseball, or excuse me, the Negro League. Well, the Baseball Hall of Fame, of course, and the Negro League Baseball Hall of Fame, which is a lot closer to me. Here are some Buck O'Neil cards. Again, really like Buck O'Neil. Unfortunately, there aren't a ton of cards to him. They're putting out more now that he's actually in the Hall of Fame, which very deserving in my opinion. Not just as a player and as a scout, but just genuinely amazing representative of the sport and in the city and just people in general. Just a really nice guy. He's wrote a couple books that I highly recommend too. One's called I Was Right on Time. Because a lot of people talked about, if you were born at a different time, you may have been more successful. You could have played the major leagues, and that's not his perspective. This one here is a beer card from Mexico. Don't understand all of this. Looks like it's like a target, like you hold it up and you shoot at it. I don't know, but yeah, there you go, sir. This is cerveza, which I believe is beer in Spanish. Here we go. Topps Now card of Buck O'Neil. Hall of Fame class of 2022, which I was up there for that, and I have a couple of things over here I can show you from that. Here is a Buck O'Neil autograph card. That picture is used a lot of his. Actually appears on the cover of one of his books. These are, of course, autographs after the fact. They were somebody went up to him and got it signed. Occasionally somebody will post those on eBay for a really low price, and Dave is always there to capitalize on it. Here he is with the Cubs. I, of course, prefer the Monarch. Kansas City tie, but he was a scout for the Cubs. There's his autograph there at the bottom. This is a baseball sticker. It's another one that I got surprisingly cheap. This is actually one that my good friend John Rademacher, who's an amazing guy, you'll see him on the Tuesday Takeovers at Steve Rademacher's channel. He actually put this one together, I think. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of a different card. It does say top, so I could be wrong. Anywho, Buck O'Neil. There's another Cubs card. Yep, this is, despite all my searching, all I've got so far as Buck O'Neil cards. Now, the Satchel Paige collection is much bigger. I'm going to have to go through that one a little bit faster because if I stop and ramble about all those. See, a lot of these have some little paper sticking out of them. I got these from checkoutmycollection.com, C-O-M-C. So I went on there and, looked for anything that maybe people priced low, kind of some outlier stuff. I got some residue on it I need to take care of. But there we go. So that's the Dominators, Satchel Paige. I love that look on his face. It's a Donruss card. Let's see if I can maybe tile these a little bit if I've got the frame right here. Typically, if you see a price on there, usually I didn't pay that. That's something that what the asking price was, and usually if you buy bulk of things that they will mark it down. But that's a Satchel Paige card, Fleer 2021. This is definitely a custom card made by the one and only Bud Stoney, as mentioned before. He made this for me. I don't know if it was for my birthday or what it was exactly, but just there it says Bud Stoney 101. Hopefully you can see that. He does some really good work. He takes pieces of cards and puts them together and makes this unique thing that is better than the sum of its components, in my opinion. Another Satchel Paige here. That's what all these are. This one is numbered 48 out of 199. And there's the Cooperstown. That's the camo, I believe. That's what they call that one. I'm not going to read them all off to you. It's Satchel Paige. And I'm a fan of Mr. Paige. Look at that grid. Action-packed on that one. Here he is for the Browns. Century Memories, August 3rd, 1948. So that when I should take all these cards out. I don't know if that's when he made his Major League debut. Yep, it's his first appearance according to this. Okay, stay in there. Maybe we should just pull these out. We'll do that later. There we go. Hall of Famer. Yes, he is. I think he was, if I remember correctly, the 8th member of the Negro League to get to play in the majors. Artist proof card there. I like that one with the fire. When It Was a Game, Satchel Paige, St. Louis Browns. That one's 339 out of 50. I think this is some kind of like insert. Yeah, it's like a giveaway thing if you look back there. But that's a reprint, obviously, of one of his playing day cards. I don't have any. There's only 3 cards from his playing days, and I don't have any of them. That's one of my dreams, is to own one of those, maybe the 1953. We'll see if I can save up my money there. There's his Hall of Fame plaque. I do have some of the postcards of this that I picked up when I was up there in Cooperstown. This is 134 out of 599. There's a Gypsy Queen Mini. Hall of Fame Heroes. Yeah. Upper Deck. We're just getting started, folks, here. There's an artist proof. Looks pretty young in that one. Here's a purple one. Purple would be my favorite color. I was excited to get that one. He looks quite old there. It's, Miami. I tell you what, this guy played on so many dang teams. If you go look up his Wikipedia article, it'll blow your mind. He went down and played in Cuba and South America for a long time. He just loved to play. He would go wherever that he could make money and do what he loved. And he did quite well at it. He was one of the most amazing pitchers out there. Plenty of well-known players talk about how intimidating he was on the mound. There is the gray border. Just trying to put these together. Oh yeah, I always think this is funny. That big old wide stance there as he's winding up to throw it. That's that I think is the picture that they used for they put on his headstone, or a version of it. There he is. That's matches that one. That's the mini of that. Fiorentino collection, I suppose. Yep. Here we go. More Satchel Paige. Just gonna keep stacking. There's another fire. There might be some duplicates in here, but I try to do my best. I got a database of all the cards that I have. Try and find unique versions of them. Some of them are very similar, but slightly different. And, you know, a lot of times they use the same image more than one. Here's his Immortal Roll Call card. These are copies of reprints of his, I think it's the 53 card for him. But yeah, that's a very famous picture of him as well. MLB debut, 1948. Here we go. 23 out of 299 on the purple. And 89 out of 340 on the, gosh, I want to say that's purple too. And maybe it is. We get the red border. We got the base card there. That says Negro Leagues right there. It's in his Monarchs outfit. Here we have, looks there's definitely a duplicate there of the die cuts. That's one of those other things that I'll pick up if it's cheap. There he is with his glasses on. You don't see a lot of those, at least not on the cards anyway. And there we go. There's these round ones, Stars of the Diamond, Violet Chips and Mint Chips, 2013. Made to look older. Here we go. Is the gold card. That's interesting. It's a different kind of protector than the rest. Here we are. The Indians. Another Indian card. There's a die cut of him. Kind of looks like a 70 there. This one's a 714 out of 825. There he is, winding up. National pastime. Indeed it is. That's in there upside down. I'll have to fix that. Turn back the clock. These top now cards. Thought this had a number, but it doesn't. At least not that one. There we go. Satchel Paige Coopertown. Those also look to be the same. So there will be some duplicates in here. This is a swell card. That's just my opinion. That is what it says on there. Stitches in Time, Satchel Paige. That is a really old protector, but I guess it's doing its job. And here we are with the wood border. This is 11 out of 15. It's probably the rarest of I have from this set. All right. Coming towards the end of these kinds of cards. Satchel Paige Gallery of Stars. Here we are with an upper deck. The top 70 commemorative patch. And here we go. This is a relic card of Satchel Paige, obviously. Whitey Ford, Bob Gibson, and Don Drysdale. Numbered 13 out of 35. I really like that card. So you received a more memorabilia card from Leaf Trading. A pieces of game-used memorabilia. This is 2022, so it doesn't say specifically, but it does say game-used, which is a little bit better than some of those other napkins you get out there. Don't know why this one's in a one-touch. I think that's how I got it. Typically, I find something in a protector, I'll leave it there. But here we go. So these are the Project 70 cards. I actually made several of his. And I think I have all of them. Let me pick these up here real quick. That's enough room for what I want to do here. So we're going to tile these Project 70 cards. And some of them are much cooler than others, like that one there, the wind up. And you may notice that some of them share an image, more or less, matching those other cards that we were showing earlier. That's, they're essentially just, you know, artistic renderings of either famous cards or pictures of him at the very least. So there we go. I've got 8 different ones. I don't know exactly which one's my favorite. I really like this one here. Probably these maybe this top row. These are okay. I feel like these have more character to them. You know, it's funny how inconsistent. Some of these things I've got for like a couple bucks, and others I've had to pay more than 20 just because there's fewer of them available. I don't know if people just didn't buy them that much, or they didn't make that much, both. But yeah, I have them all, at least as far as I know. Okay, let's get into some autographs, why don't we? There was a couple in there, I suppose, but these are all autographs. This is Clifford Connie Johnson. It says, best wishes to Jack Smalling, I believe. Connie Johnson. So I think that is 2 different ones there. And I don't know if these are... Some of these are JSA or PSA. Okay, there we go. This is a PSA, as is this one. So they are guaranteed. There's a couple of channels on Whatnot that, you know, occasionally have these vintage things that I like, and, you know, sometimes they get on eBay, or as they refer to on that channel, Evil Bay. Yeah, because, you know, people are typically looking for the hot young players right now, but I'm typically looking for vintage stuff. Monty Irving, there we go. This is an authentic card. I don't think they got it graded, but, you know, that particular card isn't going to be have a lot of value itself, but probably not a lot of Monty Irving cards out there. This is a Negro League Baseball starred card. I'd like to get that whole series eventually. Buck Leonard, one of the powerhouses of his day. This is the postcard, of course, of his plaque. This one does not appear to be authenticated, but I've looked at other pictures. In fact, I have other autographs of his in here, and I have no reason to believe that that is not authentic. So these actually came from a local toy store that somebody came in and had these for sale. These are, you know, people that lived, maybe still live in the Kansas City area, and, you know, would come into the Negro League, and they had cards for them to autograph, and one of the guys there would try and get it anytime he could. I bought all of them, so they gave me a discount on it. I think I paid probably closer to $12 for each of these, but unfortunately that game store seems to be out of business. It was a nice little mom and pop thing, so I kind of missed that. But these are some folks that, you know, I looked them up, and you know, they all had decent careers, but none of them went on to the majors, so they don't have much of way of cards. Some of them are represented in those postcards that I showed you earlier, but I guess I should say their names: Herman Dockhorn, DeWitt Woody Smallwood, James Lefty Lamarcue, Alfred Slick Surratt, and Jesse Rogers Jr. They say that you die twice, once when your body passes, and another time when the last person that remembers you is gone. So every year we visit, you know, graves, and we lay wreaths as a memorial, and we say the names of everybody so that they live on in that capacity. So these are a couple of the things that I picked up when I was at Cooperstown. Of course, this is Leroy Robert Page, or Satchel Page, which is a nickname he got early in life, and Mr. John Jordan Buck O'Neill. So got a couple of those just to make sure I had in my collection. So here we got Judy Johnson, or William Julius Johnson. These are slabbed, of course. PSA DNA certified authentic. And here we have a historic autographs, another Buck Leonard card to go with that one. That one obviously is a little bit more janky, but there you go. Some of those. And then 2 of the larger ones I have. These are some of the, hopefully you're familiar with the Steel Great Moment cards. These are large, and they're numbered, and they're great for getting autographs. I was able to pick these up. There was a guy that had, I think, dang near the whole set. I mean, there was, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 of these things. You know, the Mickey Mantles and stuff, of course, went ridiculously high. Dave was looking for some players that weren't as high in demand. So I think these are all out of 5,000. There is a couple other Negro League players on here that I wasn't able to snag, but these are the ones that were in my price range: Monty Irving and Ray Dandridge. I believe there are 38 members of the Hall of Fame that were previously members of the Negro League Baseball League. And I'm trying to get as many of their autographs as I can. Some are quite rare and are for figures. I don't know if I'll ever get those, but perhaps someday. Anyway, last count, I'm in the mid-20s as far as number of people. I won't dwell on these too long, but these are some things that I picked up that aren't card-related, but they are specific to the Negro League Baseball Museum, including this Buck O'Neil pin. Again, love John Buck O'Neil. I think that comes from a baseball that I got. So this is a little kind of 5-minute sprint card, back when people actually did calling cards. You can make a 5-minute call in honor of Buck O'Neil, I suppose. Maybe a call to tell somebody about the museum you went to. So these are just some things that I picked up along the way. Again, some of them came from the actual museum itself. Sometimes people just have them as part of a collection. They didn't want to keep them, and I gladly snagged them because, you know, it's in its own way. It's part of the memory of everything, and I like looking at them. Envelope things came in. Here's a postcard that they sent out to members. Happy holidays. Another happy holidays one here. Oh, this is actually the last time I went. Oh, sorry, this is National Baseball Hall of Fame. That's in the wrong pile, so we'll move that over to the other stack there. But his legacy plays on. There he is with the statue they put of him. So if you go in there, there's a baseball diamond with a lot of different players from the Negro League in their appropriate position, and Mr. Buck O'Neil is kind of in the dugout area because he was a scout or coach at that time. Ah, there we go. That's just what I was talking about. So you can look in through the cage as you walk in and see, you know, various players, including, I think that's Satchel. Yeah, pretty sure that's Satchel. Just on the other side of the view of this is where Buck O'Neil would be. There's Rube, one of the founders of it. The Power of Love, Buck O'Neil. He was a big fan of of love, not just Huey Lewis. Oh yeah, this is something I got at the National Baseball Hall of Fame. It's the class of 2022. Easy for me to see there. So Fowler, Hodges, Cott, Minoso, Olivia, O'Neil, and David Ortiz. Kind of neat little lenticular there. Here we go. So yep, just a lot of insert kind of things that came with from the museum in one capacity or another. That's the entrance to it. If you walk in the Jazz District of Kansas City, over on the east side of town, you've got the Jazz Museum and the National Baseball Museum there. The Black Archives are nearby as well. So there's a lot of history down there. It's definitely worth visiting if you get the chance. Okay. And lastly, I almost forgot this. This is a Satchel Paige first day envelope that I have sealed up too well. I have to reapply some tape there. Unfortunately, none of the card protectors that I have, the top loaders, quite fit this one, so I put it back in the packaging that I received it in. But there we go. It's a first day of issue, Legends of Baseball, Satchel Paige stamp and envelope. Yep. Very cool. Let's seal that up after this. Alright, so the last thing that I have to show you, other than my baseballs I might dig out, I don't know. So this is a set that was put out a few years back. Let's see if I can figure out what it's called. Craig Crindler, I think is the name of the people that produced it. They produced it for the Negro League. Some of the names in here you will recognize there, you know, Mays and Jackie Robinson, Satchel Paige, Buck O'Neil, people I've already said tonight, but there's plenty of others that there aren't any other cards for them, at least not produced by in any major capacity. These, you know, when they first came out, they sold the entire set for $60, but there was a very limited run, and I was not aware of it. I don't remember if I just wasn't collecting at the time or what. So I've tried to piece it together myself since then, and some of these people want a stupid amount of money because they are hard to come by. So it's taken me a long time. So if you are somebody that watches this channel and you see any of these cards for, I don't know, under $10, please let Dave know. He will gladly give you the money for it. But yeah, so I'm in, I think these are in order here. This is card 2, so I don't even have card 1. But yeah, I'm just going to kind of like breeze through these. Not because I don't care about them, I obviously do. It's just I don't want this video to stretch on too terribly long. So notable interesting things, there are a couple of ladies in here that that play. There's Rube Foster, who's actually in here a couple of times. Yeah, and you know, some of these folks, you know, played pretty brief careers. Others went on for quite a long time. Some played in international games. This gentleman is Cuban, for example. There's one of many Satchel Pages in here. You know, I try to find as many well, really any sports hero that's connected to Kansas City as I can. There's another Satchel Page. Some of them are really fun names. Goose Tatum. Look at that guy, but he was a character. You know, and Cool Papa Bell, which, yeah, that's kind of, to have that name, Cool Papa Bell, man, I would love a nickname like that. Back-to-back Cool Papa Bells. Anyway, so I've placed geocaches at the graves of a lot of the sports history folks here in Kansas City, and that you go there, you read about the individual, and then, you know, you answer some questions that you can only figure out in the field, something to do with the headstone or maybe the general area. There's Josh Gibson. Topeka Jack Johnson. I wonder if he was from Topeka. Indeed he was. And then, you know, and then it would, you know, direct you to another location outside of the cemetery where there would be, you know, something physical for you to find and sign your name. And, you know, in that way, sort of like connect people with history. Because, you know, I sort of worry that Big Bill Gatewood, that we don't honor and recognize our history enough. So as a result, that glare is not going to be too difficult for you guys. Where I'm sitting, I can't see the glare, so every now and then I get a flash of it. Poploid. Another Satchel Page. There are plenty of him. Ghost Marcel. It's a fun name. Oliver Marcel is his real name. I would go by Ghost too. There's Roy Campanella. Just to think about all the stories that these people had, good and bad. There's another Rube. That's the famous picture of him that I always see posted. Here we go. Connie Morgan, one of the few ladies that are in this set. She was a member of the Clowns, the Indianapolis Clowns. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. But, you know, I mean, they're just as important. They definitely played, had their trials and tribulations, and brought a lot to the game as well. George Rabbit Cheval. A lot of people don't know, but like the first ever game that used overhead lighting so that they could have night games was with the Negro League. It's actually J.L. Wilkerson, who was a Kansas City born and raised, and he was the founder of the Monarchs, one of the few white owners that was heavily respected and involved in the success of the league. Well, he was looking for some way to, another way to, you know, make them stand out. You know, just like, why don't we play games at night when people are available, more people might come. Another Josh Gibson, another Rube Foster. And boy, did that idea take off. People, you know, baseball games are played at night a lot anymore. Gentleman Dave Mollarker. There you go. Sammy Hughes. Bingo. Huh. Bingo was his name, oh. Cool Papa Bell. It obviously looks a lot older there. And that card we saw earlier, he was quite young. Tank Car. Another Josh Gibson. George Williams. That's an interesting hat. Another Satchel Page there. Oh, unknown. Interesting. I wonder if this is just to recognize all the folks that they don't know the names of. Oh, it looks like this might be specific to one particular player, but they just don't know the name of him. But that's a classic example. My point is not knowing Schoolboy Griffith, not knowing our history. You know, it's I think it's quite important that we remember and spot polls. Interesting. You know, sort of honor those that came before us. You know, and recognizing what we as a society did wrong. I mean, that helps us do better. Chino Smith. Interesting. There you go. Jackie Robinson. We had to show up eventually. Oscar Heavy Johnson. Heavy Johnson. Leon Day. Home Run Johnson. That's a hell of a nickname for a baseball player. A little bit of high expectations there, though. All right, the last little bit I got here. Yep. Rowe, Dick Lundy. Another Satchel Paige. There's the Buck O'Neil that I met, the older gentleman. Peanut Johnson, much younger. Dizzy, another cool Papa Bell. Charlie Grant, and I wouldn't call it a checklist, but maybe it's probably the last card in the set. But there we go. I think I might pause this and dig out some baseballs for you guys. Just a second. All right, so I found these beauties. Normally these are all on display, but I've got my hydroponics set up because I'm growing some hot pepper plants, which if you're interested in some of those, reach out to me. I'll have a bumper crop, hopefully again this year. And then my lovely wife purchased me a 3D printer, so it took up a lot of desk space, and I got to figure out, I'll probably leave these put up until the plants make their way out to the garden, and then they can reappear. But a couple of balls that are related to the subject I wanted to show you. This is one of the Buck O'Neil balls that I have. That sort of a faded print on this one, but does say clearly there, and I think it says Buddy Bell next to it. It's right there. Here is another Buck O'Neil that I got. This is someone I picked up at a local card store. Really nice guys. They always cut me a good deal. They know I'm into the vintage, and they don't have a lot of those folk come in, unfortunately, so they're nice enough to help me out. The one that I got signed by him is currently in my son's stuff, so that you know, when he's ready for it, he can have that. So that's sort of a family heirloom kind of thing that's kept separate from the rest of them. I don't really have access to that one, but this is a card that I picked up when I was in Cooperstown. There we go. This is from the Buck O'Neil Induction. Obviously, these are not real autographs. This is a gold ball. It's some reprint stuff, but it says preserving history, honoring excellence, connecting generations. I thought that was really neat, and you know, of course, being a golden ball and representing one of my sports heroes, in honoring him in the Hall of Fame, I thought that would be a great thing for me to take home personally. We'll get to that one here in a second. These are, so Hy-Vee is a local grocery store, and they do various giveaways and whatnot at events. And these are 3 different balls you can get by attending a Royals game. And they represent and honor Mr. Buck O'Neil. So there's sort of an action shot of him making a catch. This is him older. You saw this in some of the cards. That's him as, I believe it's a scout. And even older than that, that's sort of him as Buck O'Neil the fan that you can see. If you go to a Royals game, there is, I don't even remember how many, tens of thousands of blue seats there, and 1 red seat, which honors him, and it's a special honor to be able to sit in that seat. And then on the side here, it just says a salute to John Buck O'Neil from Hy-Vee. So lastly, this is an art ball that I picked up. And it is 1 out of 1,000. This is 37 out of 1,000. And let's see how easy it is to get out of here. This is some really cool stuff. They actually did an art ball exhibit at the Negro League. It does say 6-time Negro League All-Star champion there. And it's basically just, you know, basic baseballs that an artist had, you know, painted up and designed in honor of various players. So when they came out with these, which is, you know, a little bit more polished, it's obviously not hand done. This is done in a factory, but still really cool, and represents another one of my heroes. Don't look back, something might be gaining on you. Those are one of his rules to live by that, again, are on the placard of his headstone. It's a fascinating character. First player from the Negro Leagues elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame, which is quite the honor. Also, still the oldest rookie ever. I think he was 43, something like that. I just turned 44 myself, and thinking about playing Major League Baseball in the last year, no way. The wind-up there. Page began with the NGL in 1927. And it says, then Major League Baseball, the Indians, Browns, and Athletics. There he is, first Negro League pitcher. That's right, he was the 8th player from the Negro League, but the first pitcher, which was always sort of reserved for white players at the time. Career spanned 5 decades, which is pretty dang impressive. All right, named all of his pitches. Yep, Hall of Fame in 1971. Again, shout out to Steve Rademacher. I guess I didn't go through all these. So he was one of the World Series champs in 1948, 2-time MLB All-Star, Negro League World Series champs, 33, 34, 36, 41 to 48. Many of those, I believe, were with the Monarchs, if not all of them. Yep. So that's my collection thus far. I hope to continue to grow it. If you find something along these lines that you think I might be interested in, I sure would appreciate you reaching out to me. I will try and return the favor if I see something that scratches that itch of your collection. And yeah, that's it for me. I know I don't post a whole lot anymore, but I'm still here. I'm still watching your guys' stuff, and I appreciate all the people that took the time to watch this. I know it was sort of just rambling, but I'm rather proud of this collection, and I hope someday that my kids might be interested in it as well. I think Bridget might. She's the best bet I've got there. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you're doing well. I hope the coming spring brings a lot of joy and happiness to you, and you get out there and get to watch a lot of baseball or whatever sport it is you're interested in. And yeah, peace, love, and joy, my friends. Be good. Eat your veggies. Take care. Listen to your parents. This talks about where he got his nickname of Satchel, walking satchel tree, and how to stay young. I always get a kick out of these things. Can't say I follow all of them, but that might be why I look old. Every time I come here, I find baseballs have been left by people. I think that's really cool that after all this time, people still recognize his significance.